Hi, this is Francis Hughes, the Assistant Director and Editor of WitherBurn After School News. If you're a fan of WitherBurn After School News and want to support us, a great way would be to join us on Patreon. With a $5 monthly donation, you can gain access to ad-free episodes, exclusive content, and our Discord. You can also make a one-time donation on our Ko-fi and gain access to the Discord along with a special Discord role. You can find the links to our Patreon and Ko-fi in the episode description and on our website, witherburnnews.com. Or you can go to patreon.com/witherburn or ko-fi.com/witherburn after school news. Thank you to all our supporters. We couldn't do this podcast without you.
Alrighty, WitherBurn, welcome back. We have a lot of wild stories this week. Seriously, it must have been a full moon or something because the craziest things are happening. Everything from wild hogs to premature evictions. Even the investigators have been acting really weird this week. But don't worry, I'm going to cover all the wacky happenings here on WitherBurn After School News. Let's start with some community events before we get into the strange and unusual. The library, for instance, is going to have an artist alley. What's an artist alley, you might be asking? Well, an artist alley is basically a big market full of local and independent artists. These artists can come from all kinds of mediums. It can be traditional paintings, cartoonists, knitwork. I've even seen comic artists and independent publishers there. The library decided to invite local artists from all around the state to set up there. It's specifically artists that highlight cultures indigenous to the region. Think Creole, Native, and the like. They're doing this in partnership with the school because they're having a Heritage Week. So when the kids learn about local traditional beadwork, they can go to the artist alley after school and go to one of the 3 booths that have that exact same beadwork. Or when they talk about the Irish immigrants that came to the Appalachian area, they can go and see some traditional Celtic woven art. It's a good way to connect history with the present day. Plus, it supports artists in the process. But don't think that this is only for the kiddos. You can come and enjoy the alley as well. In fact, the library is hoping to do this more in the future, so it would be great if the town went to support it. It has plenty of artwork to hang in your house, plus hand-stitched pillows and even handmade garments. I'm sure you'll find something to your taste. Now, if you're an artist and you're just now learning about this, don't worry, you haven't missed out. A booth is a $50 fee for the library, and you will have it all week. They have enough room for 5 more booths, so if you want to sell some of your wares, then email the library and ask to buy a spot. On the topic of sales, Pharaoh's Bait and Tackle is having a sale this week. Mr. Pharaoh asked that I tell everyone that bait is 50% off on Thursday. This includes everything from worms to crickets to live fish. You can also get 15% off bait spray, which, if you didn't know, is spray that makes your fake bait smell like real bait. Which I didn't really get because I'm pretty sure fish don't have noses. Do they? I don't know. But either way, the spray is on sale. Oh, and he's also trying to host a children's fishing lesson on Saturday mornings. Adults and children are welcome to come, and he'll provide some of the bait. It'll be at the public dock, and it's mostly just to get kids into fishing and having them catch some sunfish. Nothing crazy. You may have noticed Mr. Pharaoh has been able to have more sales and community events. Well, that's because he doesn't have to worry about the Clarks buying out his business. And it's amazing what a local business can do when they aren't constantly worried about being shut down. I've seen this happen over and over again with almost every small business in town, which is why, say it with me now, we are gonna keep supporting small local business! Dear Lord, let's hope we never let a family like the Clarks happen again. Now that all the community updates are out of the way, let's get to the juicy stuff. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Are they closed? Good. Okay, now imagine you're in the grocery store. You're shopping for milk and bread. It's a relaxing Saturday. You're probably debating on what you should make your family for dinner. Spaghetti, meatloaf, maybe a casserole. The possibilities are endless. As you're debating this, you go to grab your favorite loaf of bread. Then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a giant 200-pound pig comes barreling down the aisle. It's rushing towards you, squealing and shrieking like a battle cry. But you can't move. Then it slams into you, knocking you into the ground. It almost crushes you before it goes to the fruit aisle and starts tearing into the oranges. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, this was the reality for happy grocers on Saturday. See, the Carltons have a few FFA kids. And if you don't know what FFA is, it's the Future Farmers of America. One of the activities they do is raising farm animals for the county fair. Because of this activity, the Carltons have a pig. One of the kids put the pig in the back of their family truck. They went to go pick up groceries and thought the pig wouldn't be able to get out. I don't know if you know this, listeners, but pigs are pretty dang smart. As smart as a toddler. So unsurprisingly, the pig got out. It then got into the store because of the automatic doors. Then I guess the pig was angry about being locked in a car because it proceeded to rampage and even knock down Miss Sherry. Which, poor Miss Sherry, that sweet lady did not deserve that. After tearing down half the store, the Carltons finally noticed and tried to wrangle their pig, but it ignored them. It tore up the toilet paper aisle, knocked down the fruit stands, and caused over $1,000 in damage. Which, wow, all because you couldn't keep your pig at home? Anyways, animal control had to be called, and it took them nearly an hour to catch the pig. It was a hard-fought battle, but by the end of it all, it went with animal control for a little while to make sure it didn't eat anything that was poisonous. And it was eventually returned. Happy's Grocers was able to reopen the next day, having minimal signs of the pig rampage from the day before. But our story doesn't end here. See, the FFA governing body disqualified the Carltons and their pig to the poor caretaking. But they aren't taking the pig back. They just aren't letting it be shown at the country fair. Which means the Carltons now have a pig that they can't get rid of. And oh my god, trust me, they're trying to get rid of it. They were on Facebook practically begging for someone to take the pig, but nobody wanted it. And now they're apparently offering that pig at half price. Huh. You know, after reading that story out loud, I'm starting to hear just how hillbilly all of that sounded. Like raging pigs and future farmers of America drama. This must sound insane to anyone that doesn't live near farmland. And like, I wasn't even shocked when I heard this story, mostly because it's the Carltons. I mean, come on. But yeah, no, this is actually pretty crazy. And you know what's also crazy? What the Birdwatching Society claims to have seen. A long lost bird native to North America. The passenger pigeon. Which brings us to today's Monster of the Week. Now you might be thinking, Alice, the passenger pigeon is an extinct bird, not a cryptid. And I would say, you're right, knowledgeable viewer, but then I would clarify that the sightings and reports about this bird has created a sort of mythos about it, similar to that of a cryptid, which is why I'm putting it in Monster of the Week. Also, it's my show and I can do what I want. Anyways, the Birdwatching Society was taking a hike by the swamp, seeing if they could see any interesting waterfowl. Then, one of the birdwatchers said that everyone should look up. And there, in the trees above them, they all claim, was a passenger pigeon. Yes, that bird that went extinct officially in 1914 due to overhunting. Now, I think we can all agree that they didn't see a passenger pigeon. And they probably saw a very similar looking bird. The common pigeon. Ooh, how novel, how unique. What a wild theory that a pigeon was mistaken for a pigeon. Though the passenger pigeon has a long history of reported sightings that clearly continues even to this day. One of the reasons there's so much mystery around this bird is because they used to be one of the most populous birds in America, with their population being around 5 billion. That's right, billion with a B. Yet they were hunted to extinction in a time span of 100 years. It's such a large number in such a short amount of time that it seems impossible. You know, we humans do this kind of thing all the time, so it's very much possible. But the fairly recent large number of these birds has made some people question whether or not they're extinct. I mean, President Roosevelt even claims to have seen a whole flock of them in his woodland cabin. Then, even more recently, in the early 2000s, a professional bird watcher, which I can't believe that's even a thing, saw what he believes to be a passenger pigeon in the trees. But, a little like the Bigfoot of bird watching, there's no solid evidence of this bird still being alive. Though, I hope the WitherBurn bird watchers stay alert because who knows? Maybe it was a passenger pigeon, and maybe they'll be the ones to officially bring this extinct bird back to life. Okay, now let's talk about everyone's favorite documentarians. The ones that just don't know that they should leave and that no one wants to talk to them. Well, many of you will be happy to know that they just got kicked out of their hotel room for not providing proper payment. Now, I usually wouldn't wish this upon anyone, but I just really want them to get out of town. They apparently gave the front desk worker a card that had like $20 on it. And yet they still somehow managed to stay in the hotel for 4 weeks. Which, by the way, they were violating fire safety code because they had 10 people crammed into one bedroom. Okay, so like, did they sleep on top of each other? I don't even know how that would work. So, yeah, multiple reasons as to why they got kicked out. But, okay, here's the bad news. They're still sticking around town. I know, it's crazy. What hotel would even take them? Like, aren't they blacklisted? Well, they decided that they would camp until their film was done. Guys, documentaries on average take 2 years. We are never getting rid of these people. But also, like, are they just keeping their expensive film equipment in tents? Like, okay, what if it rains? It's just everything I hear about them is stupid. Do you think they listen to the show? Or do you think they're like fully oblivious to the fact that the whole town hates them? Whatever. You know what? For them, ignorance is bliss. All of this is to say that if you see people with large, lumbering equipment lost in the woods, that's not a monster. That's just some college film nerds. Moving on to school news, Bo and Scarlett have been missing from their respective practices for the past week, and no one knows why. This is weird because Scarlett is the cheer captain and Bo is a first string quarterback, so they usually at least tell the coaches why they would be gone, but the coaches don't know anything either. So rumors have spread that they're playing hooky together. Not really their styles, but who knows? They could be out by Lover's Lane, drinking, or whatever it is rambunctious high school couples do. Others are saying that Scarlett is helping Bo as his family comes into town. Though, why wouldn't they tell their coaches? And I will admit, this theory is more likely. But still, why wouldn't they tell their coaches? No, no. I think this has something to do with the weird recording I got of them on the first day of school. Now, look, I still have no idea what that recording was about, but I just have this gut feeling. And people have said they've seen Scarlett during practice times going on these weird errands. She was seen coming from the Catholic Church one day, but she isn't Catholic. And she was seen buying garlic, water, salt, matches, and many other items in bulk on another day. But that could just be a rumor. But like weird rumor, right? Honestly, that sounds like the ingredients to one of my granddad's horrible medicinal concoctions. I mean, they worked, but they were horrid. So maybe she's sick. Then why is she coming to class? Ew, do you think she's coming to class sick? Icky. I mean, also, even if that was true, that doesn't solve the mystery of where Bo has been. And look, I don't know, but both the cheer and the football team are anxious in their absence. Other school news includes Robin returning to her student council president role. Now, many people know that she won the election earlier this year. I mean, no one ran against her, but she was debating returning to the role. She said she might just finish her first term and then give the position to Ivy. She was probably thinking this way because she was constantly being talked to by the FBI and lawyers, and I mean, it was all getting very hectic. Which I mean, yeah, it's very hectic. I mean, sometimes it's like these people, they forget that we're just kids who wanted to live our lives. And look, I don't want to spend my weekends identifying people in a lineup or telling my story to lawyers. And it's also just, it feels like on so many levels these people don't care how we feel about all this because they are just so focused on the case and the trial and putting people behind bars. And look, trust me, I do want them behind bars, but I, I don't have to look at these people anymore. I had to identify one of the cops I saw the night that I was on the Clark's property. I knew him vaguely before. I mean, he went to my church. I pointed him out, and he started begging me to change my mind. That he had a wife, and that I couldn't do that to him. 'Cause I knew him. And then so quickly, he started yelling about how he was gonna get out, and he was gonna find me, and that he knew where I lived. And it was all just too much. And then they shuffled me out of the room. And then they brought Birdie right on in. And he was still yelling. These lawyers, they view us as files in their case. The FBI too. I mean, Del Rose, he keeps calling me, and well, he doesn't call it interrogation, but he's trying to find the Clark's book, and I'm the last one who saw it, so I'm his only lead. Because that book is apparently the final nail in the coffin for the Clark case and could give everyone the maximum sentence. But, to be honest, I think he wants something. Because it's clear to me that me and Birdie are nothing except parts in their machines. The sole purpose to be to put people behind bars. Oh, wow. Sorry. That was a lot. Also, okay, probably not supposed to tell you that. Anyways, I'm glad that Robin is returning to be student council president. She's really good in that position, and I'm sure people would be sad if she didn't stay. I mean, I know I would be. Plus, she is bringing back the annual food drive this year with a very special prize. She really wants to break the food drive record that was set last year. So this year, the class that brings the most foods gets an ice cream party. So yeah, bring your canned foods, your ramen packets, and get donating. And before we move on, I just really want to give a heartfelt congratulations to Robin. I mean, she really deserves this position, and, I know these past few months have been really hard, so it's really nice to see you doing something you love, and, I mean, I remember last year when you were so excited about this canned food drive, and I honestly I thought it was a little silly, but I was happy about it because you were happy about it, and I wish I could be there to help you with it this year. But I'm sure no matter what, you'll do great. I mean, you always do. Anyways, that's all I have for you today with WitherBurn. It's been a crazy week, like I said, and hopefully this upcoming week has a few less antics. Join us next time when we have a very special interview with the one and only Amelia Farrow Garcia. It's gonna be so much fun. Good night, WitherBurn. I'm the reporter, signing off.
WitherBurn After School News is written and directed by Jordan Oliver, assistant directed by Francis Hughes and Spencer Samson, edited by Francis Hughes, and Alice is played by Jordan Oliver.